So narrowing down your hunting camo can be a pretty daunting task, and there's a lot of different varieties that are out there that can either be inexpensive or very expensive, and trying to figure out that one particular one that's going to work for a broad range of hunting areas or hunting landscapes is going to be pretty difficult. So what I've done for my own little experiment is I've set up a number of different scenes that I can put different camo patterns in. I can look to see how they conceal themselves in different locations. And for my particular scenario, I'm trying to get one pattern that really works in a broad range from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast or to the Western Mountains. And so I'll just go ahead and introduce ones that I'm doing. So in my first scene, this is probably a Kansas CRP field. This is during the spring season for turkey hunting season. So the first one you'll see, which is going to be the Kuiu Vias, the Kuiu Verde 2.0, the Firstlite Cipher, followed by the Fusion. Then you'll have the Under Armour Barren and the Under Armour Forest, and the Sitka Open Country, the Sitka Elevated 2, and Sitka Sub-Alpine. So now that you've been introduced to them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them in a number of scenes. The first scene is going to be a stony outcropping in the peaks of the Appalachian Mountains around the October time frame. So take a look at how they set in. They'll maybe in different orders than what I've just listed, but you'll be able to see them without any kind of indication as to what they are, and then they'll pop up. So you will be able to determine which ones stand out for your particular area the most and which ones really blend in. And then you may be able to determine, which is what I'm trying to do, is which one fits the broadest range of landscape scenarios. So let's take a look at scene number 2, which is a stony outcropping in the peaks of the Appalachians. Scene 3 is the rolling sandhills of Nebraska during the spring turkey hunting season. So you'll be able to see each one of these and how they blend in. So take a look. the little bighorn. You see a little moose in there. It still has his velvet on during late summer. So if this is a scenario that you're looking for, take a look at how this camo blends in. This is an image from one of my game cameras during the winter time frame in the Appalachian Mountains. Go ahead and see how they blend into this particular landscape. This would be a late summer Appalachian foothills, a lot of green on the trees, but you'll be able to see how each one of them blend. This is late summer in the Rocky Mountains. It's a heavy forested area. Actually see the elk that's in the photo still has its velvet on, but here they are. late summer, very open mountain range, a little sagey, stony, very grain type background, but see how each one of them blend in. This is a New Mexico heavy sage with green conifers. See how each one of them blend in here. Finally, for my own closet, I've gone out, and this is winter time frame. I've taken some home dyed camo that I got from Goodwill. I actually dyed it with some dark brown and dark green, I think even black, to give it just a different look than what it really is. Then some real tree camouflage, so the ones that they decorate look like they're the actual trees, so you're walking around with this tree canvas on. Then the Sitka open country and the Under Armour forest. You can see how each one of those kind of blend in. So after seeing a few of those things, I'd like to show you what I've got going in here. So here's the self-dyed Army camo that I got from Goodwill, and it blends in pretty good to a green dark background. So I mean, if this could be an option if you're on a very limited budget and you just want something that blends in. Or if you might be a serial rapist, this is the 60s camo. Works pretty well. It blends in pretty good in a nice green environment. And here is this is the Under Armour forest, and I actually killed this guy this fall, still hunting from about 20 yards. So as he turned, he looked directly at me. He didn't see me. He knew something was up, but I blended in perfect to the background. This is, of course, in the Appalachian Mountains. The background was green. I wasn't moving. I had snuck in nice and quiet, and he just happened to not see me. What I'm moving towards, because I'm looking for a more national type hunting environment, so I'm looking for something that will work in multiple situations. I've actually gone with, believe it or not, open country. And the thing about Sitka in this open country is that it's a system. Everything kind of fits together. It's very well made. It's meant to be out in the elements, and so it works out pretty well for what I'm doing. So hopefully with what you've seen, it makes sense to you, or it looks like you can make those choices, and helps you make your hunting camo selection a little bit easier for the future hunts.